Life is full of imperfections. Justin Loo was one of those who saw his life as such until he started running. Running not away from his life, but because he wanted to live his life to the fullest.
The reason why I started running was because of confidence. There was a period of time where I reflected on myself and things weren't going very well in relationships, boy-girl relationships, family-wise. And one of the core reasons I found out was because of my insecurities, basically with myself, how I looked, how I walked around, how I saw myself, my self-esteem. So just kind of decided to do something about it. Just something to remember the past. It's how I looked the last time, which was quite different. I was 80 kg last time.
And how heavy are you right now?
69. This was given at our Cute race. When you finish the race in our, it's an Our Cute race. It's a charity race. On that day, she ran with me. This was my very first race. She decided to run with me, even though she did not train prior to that. So we actually ran hand in hand throughout the whole race. We were like, I think, the last few to come in, but we ran hand in hand all the way. And
so you completed the race together?
We completed the race together. And in fact, at the last point when she sprinted ahead of me. So, but at the end of it, we sat down at the beach and we were very tired. And I thought that was a very appropriate moment. So it was at that time that I asked her to be my girlfriend.
But just when he was starting to see himself in a more positive light, a game of soccer one day brought his dreams and hopes tumbling down the hill.
Once they have a ligament tear, fluid builds up in your knee, so it swells up. What happens is they actually put the needle in to throw out the fluid. What they suspect was at that point of time, a virus went into and actually infected me. And it only manifested, I think, that was about 2 weeks after that. So, had crazy fever for 2 weeks. It was really, really bad. I've never felt that bad before. It was high fever, body aching all over. You cover yourself with a blanket over your head and you're still freezing. So after that 2 weeks, after multiple blood tests for dengue, they suspected dengue. After dengue, they ruled out dengue because dengue has an incubation period, I think 1 week. So after 1 week, and the blood test shows no dengue, they have to move on to the next diagnosis, which they figured was meningitis. So being an infection of the brain layer is quite serious. And the worst thing was, the only way to test it was lumbar puncture, which is inserting that needle into your back. The nurse weren't that nice to me. They were telling me, although well, they will kind of numb the area, but it's still gonna hurt. And I know because we just studied it in school, and the last temperature taking before the lumbar puncture, temperature dropped. It dropped to 38.5, and then after that it kept dropping. So it was from that the doctors figured it wasn't meningitis, it was just viral infection. That was really bad viral infection at least. So from that viral infection, I got discharged. Found out 2 days later that the virus had attacked my spine and the lower back, which was the sacrum, which has a bundle of nerves that controls your bladder. So it was bad for I think 2 weeks, no, a month actually, because the doctor said that when they did another MRI, they found that it was inflamed. So inflammation cannot be treated, in the sense it has to go down its own. Every viral infection, there isn't a medical cure for it. It has to go away by its own. So it could take months. He was saying that it could take between weeks to months, and months meaning the longest case he had was, I think, 11 months. So we can't have to wait. All we do was wait and hope that at the same time the kidney doesn't get affected. So at that point of time I was really broken, going through so much already. It was really defeated. I was completely defeated. But thankfully, the bladder thing resolved itself in 2 weeks. So, fun part, after the bladder resolved itself, depression came in, which wasn't something that I was expecting actually, because I was actually okay during the bladder time, defeated but still fine. But suddenly one day after the bladder thing, I just couldn't function as a person. I couldn't wake up. I woke up and went back to sleep straight away after that. Closed the blinds. I couldn't eat I couldn't do anything. Going down to buy food was, like I said, was terrible. It felt so tiring, physically and mentally tiring, just walking down. So depression was at least that was the last stage of everything. That was the last stage of this whole bundle of illnesses. That lasted about 2 weeks. So after that, I turned to running, or at least used running to try to get myself out of the house. So as the depression subsided, got more energy. Once that happened, out the door.